We're live. Are we live?
Yeah.
All right. Happy New Year.
It's only 5 o'clock here, but it's midnight in Italy and Germany, over there in Europe somewhere.
Europe,
So,
yeah. So Happy New Year, Europeans. So, a lot of things happened in 2020, and it was a lot of people had a very hard year. We started the year out hard, but the last half was actually it turned around quite amazingly.
Right, it really was like the last half, wasn't it? Because we started off. We had the flu in February. All like us and the kids were super sick, almost died. Then of course March, April, pandemic, working from home. Didn't know how that was going to work.
Yeah. There was a lot of adjustment.
Yeah.
So we started started this year really with hard. Everyone having the stomach flu. And that was very not pretty. That was last Christmas.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. And then we had a little bit of a respite before the next one hit, which was the actual flu and hacking and fevers and badness.
Weeks and weeks.
For weeks and weeks. And then I was very stressed out. You went fully remote because of the pandemic.
Yep.
And I moved in with my parents and the kids so that you could figure out how to work from home.
Right. I didn't think I could work from home, like with 4 kids around, and I just so she came, and we're actually at their place in Alabama right now.
Right.
Your parents, but you were here for like a month, right? I mean, at least a month.
Yeah, 6 weeks, I think.
I was by myself.
Yeah.
All by myself.
And once we realized that this might not just blow over, like we did not know how long this was actually going to last, we decided to come back and try to make it work somehow. Yeah. And actually, after that adjustment, we love it. Nat loves working remotely, right? Or
but even better, like Martha got a job.
Yes, and that's one of the, I'd say, the main thing that turned the last half of the year around. And you think of all the great things that have happened to us.
That was the highlight.
That is basically what kicked it off. Well, first I got a freelance gig. So that's the first pro for me for 2020. And then that opened the door to my full-time gig, which is my second pro. We're going to list all the great things that happened.
That's right.
Because we already know about the terrible stuff that's happened, right? So let's talk about some good stuff. Yeah. You had some good things before that, though.
Yes. Yeah. Let me. I actually have a list. I was writing up a list. I was feeling depressed. Oh, that's too loud. Okay, so this was the first year since I've been wanting to like invest and save for retirement for like 10 years. We finally had enough money. It'll be covering our expenses and stuff. So I was able to actually start saving over like 6%. And then we had a company match for our 401k. So that felt really good. That was at the beginning of the year.
That was excellent. Was that the beginning?
Well,
right,
March.
Because it was
March.
Right,
it was March
right.
When
that was even before I got my job. Right.
I got a little raise from my company.
At the beginning of the year.
Are we supposed to be toasting?
And a bonus. Toasting! Yay! Hooray for investing and raises and bonuses.
Okay. Then I was in our company hackathon, and we were competing against people from all over the country. And my team won, and we got $1,000.
Yay for winning and for more money.
Money is really good. Oh, then I got a $10,000 bonus.
Yay, more money.
That was fun. Thank you, Cox.
Yay. You know what, guys? Before it sounds like we're bragging.
No,
we had our hard year. This has been a hard year for a lot of people. Job losses and all sorts of things. We had our hard year 2 years ago.
Yep.
It was bad in terms of not having any income, not being able to afford our lease, having to switch career, having to all this stuff. 2 years ago, we had to do drastic life changes to try to figure out how to get out of the tight spot we were in. And this year, it feels like, you said it feels like we're just reaping all the changes and risks we've taken.
Yep.
Basically this year have been paying off.
Yeah. It's like you plant seeds and then they grow,
Yeah.
for a long time. We can't see anything happening, and then suddenly they're here. And so it's in that sense, yeah, like we were saying, it's extremely hopeful. Like if you've had a hard year this year, just realize that you can turn that around so quickly.
2 years from now, you could be cheersing and celebrating too. Just keep going.
Start now.
Yeah, but but that it can come if you keep on keeping on and working and doing the changes you need to do.
And it required a super radical change. I mean, I was self-employed. I was oh my goodness.
You've had too much to drink. This is not even alcoholic.
No, I only drink kids' drinks. Anyways, let's keep going down the list.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I another thing for me. This is on my list, so you'll have to ask this too. But I survived a couple layoffs.
That's right.
For some reason, my company kept me. So
yay! You must be doing good.
I guess, or they just forgot to put my name on it.
And in this day and age, software developers are actually, I mean,
yeah. This is a good business. It's a good
time to be a software engineer.
All right, then Martha getting a job.
Yep.
That was in end of June.
End of June. 6 months on the job now.
Good job.
Also fully remote.
Yeah.
And this is something
like your dream job.
We have dreamed of this, or at least I've dreamed of it.
Yeah. Like I did not. I was discouraging her. I didn't think it was possible. I did not think. I was like, maybe in about 5 years, Martha. Like after you've worked at a company for a long time.
Exactly. This was something that I fantasized about and working towards in years to come. Both of us working fully remote, and it just happened all at once. So. Thank you, pandemic, for giving you a remote job.
And once again, this is the thing. Where it's like, I am a huge believer. It's like everyone has been complaining about this year. But it's like, in every situation, there's always some sort of hidden opportunity. There's always something you can, find and exploit. And I think that's the other thing, too, is that at the beginning, like we said, we thought it was the end, or we were like, there's no way we can work together as at home. I thought I needed an office. It just seemed really grim, but we ended up using it to our advantage, and we got to where we wanted to be like 5 years from now,
right?
In a few months. So,
and because we had to adapt before I got a job. We thought that when I got a job, we were going to have to get a full-time nanny.
Yeah, for our kids. That's what we thought. Because we've been homeschooling our kids.
Right. So we thought that he'd be at work, I'd be at work, and we'd need a nanny, which would take up most of my paycheck anyway. Nannies are not cheap, right?
Yeah.
And because we had to do some adjusting and figure out how Nat could work from home, we were already kind of adjusted to that. So we decided to give it a try with just the two of us tag teaming, working or taking care of the kids, like switchy. So it's been working out. It's great.
Yeah. So once again, if we hadn't been in this terrible lockdown situation, we wouldn't have even considered a possibility. We wouldn't even tried it.
Nope.
We would have just been like, oh, you got to do it. We just got to get it. Gotta get it. Man, you got to do it. I mean, so once again, terrible situation.
Hard times can be an opportunity to think outside the box and to say, okay, and I guess we thought it had to be this way, but what haven't we even imagined?
And that's what Martha and I have been getting really good at, is just thinking that way. We're, like you said, like 2 years ago, like when we were in that really dark spot, like, I mean, we
didn't know what we were going to do.
Right. It was extremely hard to think creatively, and but eventually we did. Like, we hung in there long enough that we could come up with a solution and try it. And it's been working out. So, all right. Next big milestone. Martha wrote and published her first ebook.
That's right. Woo! I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
That was her first month of being employed. She spent her free time writing an ebook on how she did it.
That's right. Woohoo! Here's to an ebook. And it did so much better than I even anticipated. Like, the reason I wrote it is because people were messaging me saying, how did you do it? How did you teach yourself? How did you get a job? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to write an ebook about basically a step-by-step guide of everything I did to teach myself web development, so that when people message me, I can say, here, this is everything I know in one little package. And I guess there's a high demand for people wanting to teach themselves to code using online resources because got a great response.
Yeah, that was encouraging. That was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was,
like a bonus.
That was great. Yeah. And a lot of people talk about passive income and there's people writing ebooks and everything. And we had thought about it, but it just happened so organically that I knew there was a demand for it because people were actually asking me, instead of just writing some ebook and hoping people would. Anyway, so that was great. That was great.
Yep. So that's
awesome.
been fun. So, okay, then the other one, the more financial stuff, we filled up. The one thing so when Martha got her job, we basically doubled our income, right?
When you got your job, we doubled our income.
The first time,
then
I think we more than doubled our income. I made like $10,000 the year before I got.
I think it was like 18. Junior. Oh no, it was less.
It was
so bad.
$10,000.
Oh my goodness.
We were poor people.
Yeah. And one of the things that we you've read some Dave Ramsey stuff and shared it with me and stuff.
Oh, right.
So we were kind of
we're not like hardcore like Dave Ramsey people, but
no.
A lot of what he says, like we kind of we like.
It seems smart. Seems smart.
So our main focus was paying off my student loan. I took out like between $20-something thousand to go to a boot camp and to cover living expenses and stuff.
Yep.
So we were able to pay that off.
That's the first thing we did was pay that off.
Yep.
Right away.
Right away. So that was amazing. I think that was about 12,000 left. And then we were able to fill up
our emergency
fund of like 3 months.
Yep.
So not super huge, but at least gives us a little padding in case something happens.
If one of us, gets injured or sick or loses our job or
So that's been good. So we filled up. We put in a lot of savings, and that was the thing. It's like we were both very concerned, or at least I was, about getting. Here we are getting like a ton more income, and just that lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep,
right?
Which everyone talks about happening,
right?
And for the most part, it hasn't happened. Like we have been able to maintain our basically
our monthly expenses basically have stayed the same for the most part.
Yep.
We were much tighter in certain areas beforehand, and it's been nice to loosen up in those areas a little bit, like actually going on a date now and then and stuff like that. Like, ooh.
Radical.
And I pay for house cleaners. Like, wow, that's amazing.
Like once a month.
Just once a month. It gets pretty dirty. Hey, I'm programming. I can't be bothered with dirt.
Here's the
house cleaners. Woo! Yes.
And emergency fund.
An emergency fund. Yes. Oh, that feels so good to have that too.
Yep.
Just.
And it is hard. I mean, this is the thing. Like, if turning our lives around like this, from going like super poor and in debt, it's like it's like there are all these things we want to do. There's all these things we want to do, want to get, and it's so hard to wait.
Yeah.
Even after waiting so many years, it's still hard to be like, no, we gotta pay off our debt. So we're completely debt free. We're debt free now. Like, and people like us need to be debt free because we do risky things. Yeah. And we
like to be impulsive and spontaneous.
We want to maintain keep our risks at a the known downside, or right. We don't want to get in a situation where
that we regret later on.
Exactly.
We regret. Yep. So speaking of which, things that I've waited for.
Yeah.
Is this okay going into this?
Definitely.
So after we paid off the debt and filled up the emergency fund, we started saving for a down payment on a house. We've never owned our own place. And I don't know if it's a mother thing or whatever, but I have desperately longed to own our own home. And so we started saving for a down payment. But then we realized, there is another dream that I've had for a long, long time. And we realized that this could be the moment. And it is owning an RV and trying out full-time RV living.
Yep. Both of us and our 4 kids.
Yeah.
RV. So.
And we've seen other people doing it, other families, other digital nomads, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in the situation where we're both working remotely. All we need is our laptops and a reliable internet connection, right? Which we worked on. And the kids are older. None of them are in diapers anymore. That's another thing we celebrated this year.
Yes, no more diapers.
Woo!
They're gone.
Yes.
They're gone. Yes. Freedom.
So we just looked at each other.
8 years of diapers.
And we're thinking about moving somewhere to own our own place, but we don't know where. And we literally could live anywhere. Usually you move either to get closer to family or to get a new job. But we're fully remote for our jobs.
Yep.
And our family lives in North Dakota, and we don't want to go there again.
Yep.
No.
Well, we have family in North Dakota, and we have family in Alabama.
Yeah.
And both of them are too cold.
Alabama even is too cold. That's right. Too cold for me.
She says she doesn't know where we want to live. She wants to live.
I want it to get never, ever colder than 50 degrees.
Basically, yeah.
I never want to have to wear a winter coat again. Maybe someday, but I still have PTSD from North Dakota. It wasn't too bad until we started having kids. Anyway, let's get on.
Yeah, no complaining.
I'm not complaining.
It's supposed to be positive.
But also,
okay, so anyways, we bought an RV.
Yeah, we bought an RV.
So we bought an RV. It's a really
with cash.
With cash. That was the other thing too. Like once again, we're like, okay, this is gonna be super risky. We don't know how long it's gonna take, or we're just gonna try it for like a month or something, right? Yeah. We don't want to like make a huge investment, or I mean, it's not an investment, but a huge gamble. Right. So we saved up money over the past few months, and we bought a used RV. It's about 16 years old, and we're gonna give it a try. Hopefully next month.
Yeah, and we are sitting in an RV, but it's not ours. It's my parents.
Yeah, they have a tiny little.
They have a tiny little camper, yes. Not for a family of 6.
It would not fit us all.
But yeah, so that was another great thing. Okay, what else on your list here?
Okay, so
ebook, RV.
We got no more diapers.
Diaper free.
That was great.
Yep. I got 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yes.
1,000
on
subscribers.
YouTube. Good job.
Cheers.
So that's the first step in monetization. Someday Martha wants to.
By the way,
start raking in the money.
I want to share what I'm drinking out of my A&W mug here. This is eggnog with brandy, and it's not really eggnog. We ran out of eggnog. I actually made some, but it's kind of a pain to make. So this is actually just brandy with cream and some sugar and some nutmeg and cinnamon. It tastes just like eggnog with brandy. So if you want to try it out, it's good. I used to be a bartender, so this is my thing to do. So that was wondering 1,000 subscribers.
Yep, 1,000 subscribers.
Very exciting.
So,
what else on? Was that the whole list?
Yeah, that was most of it.
Okay.
I mean, one personal thing for me that I was happy about was I quit drinking coffee.
Oh.
That was quite the accomplishment, because it turns out that some people, and I'm not the only one, that coffee basically increases like anxiety and like panic attack kind of, I mean, I didn't have any panic attacks this year, but I've had anxiety in the past and stuff, and I've just noticed that caffeine really makes it worse. So I was able to quit caffeine this year, and been pretty much caffeine free.
Yeah.
So that feels good.
Yeah.
So
cheers. Well done.
A little accomplishment.
Getting to know your how things affect you is very good. I do better if he's not all jittery and stressed out too. So
yes.
Helps all of us. If you guys have any questions or comments about what happened in 2020 or whatever too, if you're watching, go ahead and comment. This is live. The reason we do this live is so that we can talk to people if we don't want to talk.
That's right.
And also so if we do something ridiculous, we can't go back on it or cut it out. It's just out there for anyone to see.
We like living on the dangerous side of life.
Yeah,
That's the best. That's the best place to be.
That's kind of when you feel the most alive, is when you're on the edge of death.
Yeah. Yeah. The other reason for doing this, yeah, like we just want to. I mean, like we're saying, we're so tired of all these people complaining about 2020 or about, and it's like, I mean, yeah. Once again, it's just like, I mean, just because we identify with it, like we said, 2 years ago, we were in a really terrible situation.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that if complaining would not have helped us. I mean, we basically, it's like when you complain about things that are outside your control, you give up any power to change anything. You know, like you give up any power to, like you're waiting for someone else to do something. You know, and that's not worked for us. Like
and the danger is it feels like you're actually doing something. I think that's one danger, is that when you're complaining, it feels like you're accomplishing something, and because of that feeling, it might keep you from actually doing something. So
and this is where I've like I said, I've had anxiety in the past. I've had, I've always been kind of doom and gloom, and Martha has always been extremely optimistic and extremely enthusiastic about things. And it's been amazing to see like what happens like when you have that attitude, what you can actually do. So.
Oh, did I hear back from Amazon? Wow, that was a long time ago.
Oh, I did.
I did take just the online Amazon assessment, and I did not do very well. Let's put it that way.
Did they ever say anything, or did they just ghost you?
Oh, let me remember. No, I think they sent me an email. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they sent me an email, I think. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that was a great experience, though. I mean, even just wow, because there's all these complicated data structures, algorithms, and such that.
What are the secrets? Can you reveal the secrets of what?
The secrets? No, I will not. They actually before the assessment, they tell you not to do anything. Let's put it this way.
What do they ask you?
If you're preparing, at the very end, I did a lot of free code camp for my self-taught journey, and at the very end, they have this interview prep section, and that interview prep section has data structures section. And if you work through that, it will help you probably with the more advanced data structures questions that some of these FANG companies will want you to know. So they're like, I've never done binary trees and all this stuff, There
you go. Go study, or
so go work through that and see what you do. But there's all sorts of videos. Like I looked at videos like studying for Amazon tests or different things, and they all talked about the same thing, and that's pretty much what I experienced too. So yeah. Let's just say I did not get my first job at a FANG company.
No.
But that's okay. I don't need that.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like, I mean, people get so caught up on just I think the kind of the status, and I mean I guess in the salary of working for a large tech company, but there are so many opportunities other places like like Martha's job is probably like literally like ideal, like in terms of like the flexibility she has. She doesn't have meetings.
Meetings. Not even
like,
meetings.
What the heck?
Yep.
No meetings. Like I have meetings. I have at least one meeting every day. Maybe
meetings
2.
on demand. Like we could just say, hey, can we have a meeting? Like, oh yeah, what time works for you? Just like if we need a meeting, we can have a meeting.
No,
it's not scheduled.
It's insane.
Because he wants us to basically have time to work when we need to work and not be bogged down by things, which I think a lot of developers would appreciate. But we have the luxury of being a very small team as well, so it's hard to have the communication for large teams without the meetings, I suppose. But.
Yeah. Oh, then another milestone that we just crossed yesterday. Martha and I have been married for 9 years now.
That's right, 9 years. Yay.
Congratulations.
You too. You're welcome. Yes, thank you.
It's not quite as significant as 10 years, but It's pretty.
We'll get there. One more year.
Yeah, one more year, but not. I mean, 9 years is still very, very impressive.
Hello and Happy New Year. Yep. So, oh yeah, it probably is New Year for you guys. Where are you guys located? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Woohoo.
Yeah, it's only like it's 5:30 or something here.
Yeah, we're doing
it. We're doing it early.
We've been getting up earlier and earlier and going to bed earlier and earlier. So I would be surprised if we made it to midnight tonight.
We're growing old.
So we're celebrating with the Europeans right now.
Oh, nice.
Great. In California. So it's even earlier for you. You just celebrated Happy Noon or
what? It's not that.
It's 3 hours.
2 hours.
Oh no, I'm in Southern Atlanta time.
Yeah,
it's only 2 hours earlier there. That's right. So I mean, it takes me forever to get off Atlanta time. Already New Year in the Middle East. Yay, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Weird. Half the planet right now is a different year.
Yep, that is pretty crazy. Oh my goodness.
Weird.
So 2021, I remember last year we had kind of this. We don't really do New Year's resolutions.
No, that's a bad idea. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's too long. It's too long. People can barely make 1 week resolutions. Like I can barely do something for a week.
Yeah.
Or
well,
a month,
for one thing, New Year's resolutions are mostly like self-improvement things.
Yeah.
And we don't really do self-improvement things.
Well, you don't.
I don't. I'm beyond that. I don't need to improve myself. No, but it's like, I mean, it's part of it's part of being kind to myself and accepting myself and such and different things like that. And, but I remember last year.
Hey, you're in Austin. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Austin.
Oh, wait. And then.
Hey, doesn't get below 50 degrees there. We are thinking of moving to Texas, just so you know.
Yeah, well, we're going to be in an RV. We're going to be in an RV, and our plan is to kind of go around Texas and kind of find. I want to look into the Austin area. Yeah. Kind of see if there's some spot that really appeals to us. Maybe buy a house there.
I mean, Texas is so huge. You can just stay in there. It's like its own country.
It is crazy.
We can go
Austin,
up in the north,
I've never been to Austin.
Go to the south.
I want all the cool people are going to Austin right now.
Yeah, there's a mass migration to Texas. Yes, you made resolutions and crushed them for 2020. Good for you. Yes,
that is impressive. I aspire to be like you someday.
Yes, here. Well, cheers to you.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Crush those resolutions. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well. One of the things I thought of for this year that just occurred to me, we have kind of done minimalism, or I mean, just like Dave Ramsey or different things. We can kind of read about these things. We're like, hey, that's kind of nice.
We don't
go hardcore on anything.
No, we pick and choose different ideas.
But we're like, hey, that would actually help a lot, So we've become pretty minimalistic in terms of our possessions and things. I just compulsively organize and get rid of stuff we don't use, so it wasn't too hard of a transition for me. But
with 4 kids, it's like most minimalists are like single people, or maybe have a dog.
Yeah, the kids would like to not be minimalists, probably, but.
Well, no, I'm just saying like most of people's stuff is like kids' toys and kids. I mean, there's so much junk that is like manufactured for kids.
Right.
That ends up just like accumulating because they play with it for a few days or weeks and they get bored and then just put in storage.
Which is one reason I love the iPads. We got the kids this year. Yeah. Actually, you know what? That was another thing this year. We got a Chromebook for our oldest daughter and iPads for the other 3 kids, and it has changed our lives significantly.
So cheers for screen time.
To that.
More
cheers
screen time.
To screens. Well, they can learn so much and play together, and they're playing Among Us and Minecraft, and they're like,
This is the thing. It's like our lives have been changed by basically becoming more digital. I mean, both Martha and I learned coding in the last 2 years. Completely changed our lives.
You can learn anything.
And the fact that it took us like 30 years to get to that point is ridiculous. Right. Or get to the point of even being like considering it as an option. So it's like our kids coming up, like we want them to, they're going to have access to any technology.
Well, times have changed. I mean,
what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, then again,
I was raised basically like in a.
I was,
it wasn't like Amish, but they were.
I was homeschooled through an online course in 8th grade, so that was quite a while ago. It was an option. Yep.
Of course it was. I mean,
yep.
Anyways,
it's just still,
it's just. I mean, it's just we see. That's the other thing too. Like all these parents are always complaining about screen time, and not the kids are watching TV too much, or they're on their iPads too much. Yeah. And like in our opinion, it's like we don't want them doing that all the time. But on the other hand,
that's what adults are doing too.
That's what adults are doing, and that's what we're doing, and that's how we're making money.
That's
so it's
how
like,
we're making money.
What are we supposed to do? Like, it would be completely hypocritical to tell the kids like, oh no, screens are bad.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's the opposite. It's like you need to be on them more.
Yeah, and they're learning in leaps and bounds. They're going to be more technically savvy than.
That's right.
In a certain sense, they are more technically savvy already.
Yeah. They need this next step of evolution, right?
Yeah. What tech tools and technologies are you guys using? You mean for web development? I'm coding with. I'm React Native developer for my job, and you're React.
Yeah, I use pretty much just React.
And we both use Redux. As a
React
state
Redux
management tool.
Both use Visual Studio Code.
Mm-hmm.
Both use MacBooks.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, I'm not super technologically savvy.
But we're getting by.
We're getting by, and we're coding, so it works.
Yeah, we're pretty minimalist for that too. Like here we are. I'm just using.
I don't have one of those fancy light up keyboards, or I don't have. I mean, it's just like.
And here we are. We're sitting in my parents' camper with my MacBook camera, doing our live stream. We don't have any microphones or recording studio or special camera or anything for these YouTube videos. Just like, what? This is fine.
Yeah, and that's the other thing we found too. It's like, this is like kind of our system. Is like. If we want to do something, we try to do it in a little way. Like take little risks that aren't expensive,
right?
And then do it for a while and see if we like it.
Which is how I learned to code.
It's how you learn to code. Like she didn't she didn't go to boot camp. She just started doing it like in her free time.
Yeah, and I could have quit at any time.
Exactly, and it wouldn't have been any loss. I mean, that's the problem. It's like a lot of times people will be like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, and they'll go out and they'll buy a super expensive camera, expensive lights, all this stuff. And it's like they don't even end up using it, or learning to code, and they think they need a MacBook to learn how to code. It's like, no, you don't. Just
I know people who have been learning to code on their phones.
That's insane. Yeah, that is
pretty insane, but it's possible apparently.
I would say at least have a computer. At least get a laptop.
Well, if that's all you have, like what are you gonna do? I guess there's library computers or different stuff like that.
But I guess that's the thing. It's like as you go on and you start realizing, okay, this is actually something I enjoy doing and I'm good at, or I want to do more of. Mm-hmm. Then you can start spending more money.
It's worth the investment,
right? Start incrementally, leveling up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's basically our approach to life. So now we're gonna try living in an RV, and it's like we didn't go out and you can literally buy a $300,000 RV. It's like a house, and it's not a house.
It's more expensive than most of the houses I was looking at. Actually,
it just depreciates in value, insanely fast. It's just I can't even imagine going that far in debt for an RV.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we paid one. We bought one for cash. If we don't like it, we can sell it. We can move on. Yeah. Just wipe the slate clean.
Happy New Year and have a good lunch. He says he's going for his lunch.
Oh.
It's so weird. Time zones.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, right. And okay, so we didn't make New Year's resolutions, but we made a plan. We made goals and plans. Oh, here we go. What was that for? Happy New Year.
It's New Year somewhere.
Every hour you can celebrate New Year's.
That's
just
right.
Every hour.
Yep.
And then, but we did have a meeting. This is what we like to do around the end of the year is we have a nice long coffee shop date together. Well, my parents watch the kids or someone watches the kids, and we make plans and goals it's like an end of the year retro.
Yeah, that's right.
Thinking about the past year and what we want to do moving on. And And it was really fun this time because we were actually using, since we're both programmers, we were using like async await for asynchronous actions, and if that or if else blocks for conditional situations.
Yeah, for basically writing out our 1-year plan.
That's right.
So if this happens, then run this loop. Otherwise, go to this other function.
That's right.
So I mean, it wasn't very. I think the syntax was a little off.
Yes, we weren't using a code editor or anything.
But it is amazing. Like this learning coding just bleeds into like all these other areas of your life, like in a really good way. Because like people think about plan A, plan B, but it's like that's so simplistic. You gotta have like a whole logic tree, right? I mean.
Oh, we have a question here. What is your morning routine?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wow.
Yeah, what is your morning routine?
Well, I guess I wake up around 6 and I get my cup of coffee and some chocolate. I always have chocolate with my coffee. And I go to the bedroom and just meditate for about an hour. Just read and think and journal, which is a very nice way to start the day. And actually in the morning, I'm typically with the kids. Like on a work day, I'm typically with the kids because the morning is when Nat has his meetings and like pair programming and different things. And it's nice for him to have a big block of time to work. I can work better having it broken up a little bit, like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. It's hard for me to work for a really long time without my brain just stopping. So that works out pretty well. So I get to be with the kids in the morning and do housework and different things. And then...
So I wake up around the same time, 6, 7, and then get ready. Usually spend about an hour just kind of going through different finances, budgeting. I try to keep... We use everydollar.com. As our budgeting app. So I go in there, I take all the transactions, move them around, check accounts. So that's something I started this year. Like for the most part, I was kind of like not even paying attention. So that's been a really good way of just kind of keeping track of our finances. And then I'll have my stand up with my team, and then I'll work for a few hours after that. And then we start switching off throughout the day.
Yeah. So that's it. We don't have any kind of rigorous morning jog or
no,
I mean,
I
see all these people posting their morning routines. I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, no, it's pretty low key.
No.
Yep. I don't really have breakfast. I found out that if I have cream in my coffee and a couple bites of chocolate, that pretty much keeps me happy until later in the morning. I can have an early lunch of a salad or whatever, but yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, we got our different routines.
Yeah.
And the kids are pretty low key to keep track of. They usually wake up at like 5 or something, and they immediately go to the living room.
Well,
and
they can get their breakfast. They get their own breakfast.
Right, they get their own breakfast. When I wake up, they're usually all sitting in a row on the couch with their iPads playing some game together. So it's very nice because they don't wake us up anymore. So if you have young kids who wake you up, I recommend iPads.
That's right. More screen time.
Yes. Yeah, that was a great question. Thank you. No 9-to-5 job. You know what? That is one of the things that's amazing about our jobs is the flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
both of our bosses, like, they are not micromanagers. They are not like, she works for a company that has like 5 employees. I work for a company that is a Fortune 500 company, tens of thousands of employees all across the country.
Yeah.
But we're both extremely lucky in that our managers are like, okay, as long as you're available, during these hours, like, 8-hour workday, as long as you're available, we don't care when you work or just how much you work, as long as you're meeting, doing enough.
And part of that is the unlimited PTO. We both have unlimited PTO. And one of the reasons companies do that is to give their developers the freedom to decide how they can be the most productive.
Yep.
So like, for example, I mentioned that I have trouble working for more than 3 hours at a time. 3 hours is even pushing it because my brain I start getting less productive, right? So if I work 2 hours at a time and take a nice break in between, then I actually end up being more productive. So it doesn't really matter what hours it happens in. I do want to be available from 9 to 5. So I have like my phone with me if I'm going for a walk or whatever. So I know if anything's going on that I need to take care of and respond to questions or whatever. But otherwise, I work when I'm going to be most productive.
And then once again, this is one of the miracles of software development is that we are judged on what we produce, not the hours we put in.
Yep.
So, which is one reason we were even attracted to it in the first place.
Right.
Like because
And as
really
it's being my
lucky.
first job, so
lucky.
I've had a little bit of uneasiness in terms of, am I doing enough? Am I producing enough? Especially since it's not a 9 to 5. If it was a 9 to 5, as long as I'm sitting at my desk from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? But with this unlimited PTO, I'm like, am I really doing it? And so it was really nice getting my end of the year review, which I had just a few days ago with my boss. And he said that I have been doing an amazing job and that even more than he expected, so that was great to hear. I'm like, okay, it's good. Whatever I'm doing, it's working.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's okay.
Yep. So like if you're a knowledge worker, like she's saying, like, she can't code more than 3 hours at a time. Like my boss has told me the same thing. He's told me now some of my most productive times as a coder was walking around outside through the trees,
right,
thinking. And he's like, when you go home at night, Nat, you can't turn off your brain. Like you can't leave work in a certain sense. Like
it's always haunting you.
So it's a blessing and a blessing and a curse. And the blessing is that you don't have to work just within a certain time frame. The curse is that you can never really turn it off because it's in your brain.
Yeah, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're working because you're thinking about stuff you've been trying to figure out and things like that. So yeah.
Well, I'm starting to get a little cold.
A little cold.
Do you have any other things we need to celebrate? We need to move farther south. This is not.
I know. We should not be cold. We never want to be cold.
No, never again.
If we were living in an RV, we would be down in Corpus Christi or what's further south than that?
Well, I want to go down to
South Padre Island.
Yeah, I want to go down to SpaceX.
We could be sitting on a beach right now, guys. Let's get this RV thing on the road.
Yeah. All right, there you go. New Year's resolution.
All right. New Year's resolution.
Next live stream, or a year from now.
Next New Year's, we will be celebrate on the beach.
All right.
Yes.
I can cheers
to that.
Yes.
We don't have any things, but we can go like this. All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Whenever you celebrate it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to another year and whatever adventures it might bring.
Yep.
And hoping it brings good things to you.
Yes, and let us know. Let us know all the awesome things that happened this year for you too.
That's right.
Alrighty. See you guys.
And
cheers.
Cheers.